You know, one of the things that I get asked the most about my fan series is, will Karai be showing up? And sadly to that, the answer is no. But you know what you can do about it? Well, you can always Karai about it! That's right, the ongoing pun little joke about you crying. Karai, get it? It's a pun. Yeah, we threw it on a t-shirt and you can get it right now. Check the Geekily shop. It's in the pinned comment in the description box. Go down there somewhere. It's not on just shirts. We have it on hoodies, drawstring bags, anything you can think of pretty much. Just go check out the shop for yourself. We went so all out, we made 3 editions for you. 2K3, 2K12, and Rise. What are you doing? Are you just gonna sit there or are you gonna Karai about it? Order your t-shirts now! And more. Well, it's been a minute talking about this project here on the channel, but what better way to talk about it in a new video than bringing new people, right? So we have 2 new cast members that I would like to introduce to the world. If you could please go ahead and show yourself to the world, no Elsa, and say who you play.
All right, Geekily, Kieran here, aka That Irish Geek. And I will be the voice of Casey Jones.
I'm Madison, but please call me Maddie, and I am honored to be the voice of your Lotus Blossom.
Which, if I'm not mistaken, is a first-time reveal. I don't think I've talked about this character being in the series, but yes, Lotus Blossom is here. If you watch the start of this video, this is the reason why I didn't plan on using Karai. Now that that's out there,
you can go and Karai about it.
Yeah, exactly. Now you know. So I actually have a list of questions for you guys. Normally, I would do like a community-based Q&A, but since this one was structured differently from the previous update videos, I wanted to ask you guys from me. So, first of all, when it comes to these characters, what was the first time that you were aware of the character that you're playing in the fan series outside of the fan series? Like, in any other form of Turtles media, when was the first time you heard of Casey Jones, and what was that experience like? What was the first time you heard of Lotus, and what was that experience like?
Oh, that's a very interesting question. I think my first introduction to Casey was through the 2003 series. I think it was,
nice.
We were on holidays, I think, at one point, and the show just happened to be on the TV, and I think it was the episode where, like, just, like, the very end of, like, the episode where Raph and Casey first meet. Mm-hmm. And like that fight with the purple dragons and all that. So that was kind of my first introduction, and then I really got into it more, like when I watched the 1990 movie and rewatching 2003 and every other incarnation from there. So yeah,
I first discovered Lotus, with any fan of the TMNT OG series, is the 1987 show. I love Lotus Blossom. I think she's an underutilized character. She's so elegant but so mysterious. We barely know anything about her backstory, and when we do know what we do know from Farewell Lotus Blossom, it's always so tragic in a sense. She's so mysterious and so cunning, but has a little bit of fun sometimes. She's no slacker. I love how cool and carefree she seems to be in her profession, and she's always mystified me as a character, and I'm very, very excited to finally get the chance to explore that.
I know it's been relatively recent that you guys have gotten acquainted with your roles and everything. When you guys go in and you're just practicing or anything like that to kind of hone in and craft the character to your liking, what place do you tap into to find inspiration? Is it previous iterations of the character that you're playing, or do you dig more so in terms of a place of, I would say, inspiration in your own personal life that's detached from TMNT and just bring that into the character?
I'm liking these questions. These are really good questions.
Yeah.
Really get you thinking. For me, like, obviously Geekily knows, I just kind of took a bunch of random lines from all across TMNT, like, you know, in general, from like, it's a 2007, 2003, even like a line from the OG comics, I threw in there. I feel like it was just kind of myself. At the end of the day, I'm probably just doing my own thing and just kind of like playing it up. Casey does do a vigilante voice when he has the mask on, and for that, I kind of lean into like a really bad Shadow the Hedgehog impersonation.
Wow, no, don't downplay it. Come on.
I mean, like,
solid. Pat yourself on the back, buddy.
Even though I didn't have like the Casey hockey mask at the time, I just got out a Darth Vader helmet to muffle the voice slightly.
Hey, you work with what you have.
And it did the job. Yeah, but in terms of like versions of Turtles that really inspire the voice, I sometimes just like tap into like my own like annoyances and grievances with life and just kind of like, you know, do some like kind of heavy breathing of sorts, like just kind of get like kind of all roughed up in a way. I don't know if that makes any sense. 2003 and 07 are probably like my go-tos. And I really want to get back into reading IDW, because like IDW Casey is really good. From like what I remember reading as well.
My personal favorite.
I channeled a lot of famous fan fatales from like the 1940s, like Lauren Bacall and Lucy Liu from Kill Bill. It was just finding the voice for such a mysterious character who doesn't really get a lot of spotlight. It's a lot of fun. If I had to draw inspiration for another source material for TMNT, I would obviously go with Alopex from the IDW comics. Because in a similar vein to Lotus, they're both tragic, mysterious characters, and they're shining examples of how a female character can be written well. I adore Lotus, and I adore Alopex. Yeah, I'm really excited. I can't wait for this.
I can't wait either. It's going to be really exciting. I'm excited for everyone to see what you brought to the table and things of that nature. It's going to be really fun.
Oh, yes! I'm so excited!
Okay, so this is a fan series. It's not an official product. We're not affiliated with anyone who owns TMNT, obviously, but with this being a fan project, let's keep it in the realm of fan-made content coming out of this series once it finally drops and everything. And if my dog in the background will please stop barking, I would appreciate that very much. Hold on. But yeah, as I was saying, in the realm of like fan-made projects, once people see your portrayal of your character, what is one key thing that you want people to take away from your performance and your version of the character? What do you want them to hold with them and be like, you know what? I remember this about that take.
Ooh.
Very interesting. Okay. I think at the end of the day, when I was auditioning, like while I had like a bunch of lines from across like various versions of Casey, I wanted to bring my own sort of flair to it. And that's why like very much of it is my own voice, but layered with like maybe some vigilanteisms for when, you know, he goes out and does his thing. But when he's just like regular old Casey, like interacting with characters like April and Vernon, it's very much just myself and like just playing like old D&D characters who was just kind of like a Spider-Man but like not as socially active. I want to be able to like make this character my own, and like I can't thank Geekily enough for taking a chance on me.
I want people to know that Lotus is more than just the quote-unquote the inspiration for Karai, or that she was just a secondary character that only had 2 episodes in 87. We only have the one interpretation of Lotus. It's all about Karai these days, and it breaks my heart because Lotus has that potential, but because of Karai's popularity, she's just kind of been overshadowed and seen as the quote-unquote inspiration for her. When I auditioned, I wanted to keep in mind that Lotus had to be elegant, but also retain some of that mysterious kind of element to her character. I really tried to hone that down, like, okay, how would she feel in the moment, like, caught up in those kind of emotions where she's not able to take control, you know, of, like, herself or everything that she can do. Like Kieran, I am especially honored to have been given this privilege to voice such an amazing character who doesn't get a lot of roles.
Well, wonderful questions and answers we've had there, right? Everybody pats on the back all around.
Yeah.
No, genuinely, that was very incredible. Thank you both for that. I do have one more question to bother you both with. Still in the vein of what you expect from the audience, what do you think the audience should not expect going into your iteration of this character? Like, oh, I expect Casey to do this. Tell them to drop that right now. What's the one thing about your take that hasn't existed before?
If you're not caught up on like what's happening with this show, going into like the start of it, April and Casey are like exes, pretty much. As far as I'm concerned, it's not looking like the two may get back together. At least I can't say. I don't know like where things will be heading, like very like end game for Casey, you know? I just know as of right now, their relationship is very much of trying to remain in each other's lives, but at the same time trying not to catch those feelings again. I know that like when we were doing like a chemistry test alongside Dora, who plays April, like we were like asking like what's the situation on like where these characters are going to end up eventually. And it's like, as of right now, we don't know. It's very much Casey still likes hanging out with April still likes hanging out with Casey, and it's just trying to, it's like when you've like, you know, obviously, like when you've ever like broken up with someone or like say confessed your feelings to a person and it turns out like maybe they don't like you the same way and you end up just, you know, staying as friends, and it's like trying to find that it's okay to still hang out And, you know, the last thing you want, like, in that scenario is for the two of you to part ways awkwardly and not talk to each other ever again, because they very much do still want to be around. They want to be in each other's lives still. And I think that's a very, like, realistic, you know, relationships and so on. And I can't wait to explore that as well with Dora. It's going to be fun.
People to know that Lotus isn't Karai, and this is the 1000th time I think the fandom's gonna know.
Yeah.
Lotus Blossom is not Karai.
Two completely different characters, guys.
Oh man.
Similar roles, but
in
different
all seriousness,
characters.
though, I've seen so many people say that she was the inspiration for Karai when that isn't the case. Lotus Blossom is not Karai, and Karai is not Lotus Blossom. They are two entirely separate beings with their own backstories, with their own character arcs, with their own stuff going on. The difference between Karai and Lotus is that Karai has just become so mainstream that she's just become the go-to for best ninja female in the entire series. Lotus Blossom had that potential, but they did nothing with her back then. She's so much more than just what people think she is. She's an amazing character, and I can't wait to finally show the world, look, this is Lotus Blossom. Isn't she cool?
She definitely is cool. And the whole world's gonna know, or at least everybody who watches the stuff we produce, you'll know. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be great.
Person watching this video right now, you will know.
Yes.
You'll know.
Thank you both so much for joining me on this epic ride, this epic discussion. It's been incredible.
Thank you for having us join the cast and giving us an opportunity at, like, you know, being a part of this project. I've, like, only recently, like, followed everything and, like, going back over, like, it all. And the moment you, like, informed me of, like, oh yeah, we're in need of, like, a Casey, and I was like, oh, why not? Shoot my shot, see if I can try voiceover. I'm glad it paid off.
I'm so happy I don't have to keep a secret anymore!
Everyone who's not in the know about it, you can cry about it.
Yeah.
Is that a segue to
but
the
I'm-
t-shirt plug?
Get your shirts, please. I'm begging.
Yes!
Please.
Buy that merch!
Order now.
Cowabunga,
Cowabunga,
dude.
dudes!
There you go.
Gungala!
Woo!